Right now, 10 million Americans are in the direct path of a severe weather outbreak that could produce violent tornadoes, baseball-size hail, and 80-mile-per-hour straight-line winds. And the most dangerous part? Most of this is going to happen after dark, while you are sleeping. If you live anywhere from Texas to Michigan, from the Mississippi River to the Ohio Valley, the next 72 hours could be the most dangerous stretch of weather this country has seen since early spring began. And I am going to walk you through every single hour of it. Here is what I need you to understand before we go any further. This is not a normal March storm. We are looking at temperatures in the low 80s across central Illinois, 80-degree heat in March. That kind of warmth has not been recorded in this region at this time of year in decades. And when you combine that record-shattering heat with ice-cold air plunging down from Canada and extreme moisture surging up from the Gulf of Mexico, the atmosphere does not just get unstable, it becomes explosive, and that explosion is coming Tuesday and Wednesday. Now, I made you a promise. Before this video is over, I am going to give you the specific forecast for over 270 cities and locations across the United States. I'm going to tell you exactly when the storms start in your area, exactly when they peak, and exactly when they end. Nobody else is going to break it down like this for you. So if you want your city covered, drop a comment right now with where you are watching from. I read every single one, and I will personally respond with your local timing. But first, you need to understand why this setup is so dangerous, because the details matter, and they could save your life. Let me paint the picture for you. Right now, there is a massive low-pressure system spinning near Baja, California. That low is acting like a giant pump, pulling tropical moisture out of the Pacific Ocean, dragging it across Mexico, and injecting it straight into the southern United States. At the same time, a deep dip in the jet stream is diving south out of Canada, carrying bitter cold air and extreme wind shear with it. These two forces are on a collision course, and the battlefield is the American heartland. Now, here is the part that should grab your attention. When meteorologists measure how much energy the atmosphere has available for thunderstorms, we use something called convective available potential energy, or CAPE. A typical spring storm might have CAPE values around 1,000 to 2,000. Tomorrow, parts of central Illinois and Indiana are forecast to see CAPE values exceeding 4,000. That is off the charts for March. That is the kind of energy you normally see in the peak of tornado season in May, not the second week of March. But it gets worse. And this is where I need you to stay with me, because at the 5-minute mark of this video, I am going to reveal which specific cities are in the highest risk zone for violent tornadoes, and some of these are going to surprise you. So do not go anywhere. Let me explain why this particular setup has meteorologists genuinely concerned. It is not just the heat. It is not just the moisture. It is the combination of a wide, fat, warm sector sitting hundreds of miles east of the cold front. Most of the time when you get a storm system like this, the warm, moist air is squeezed into a narrow band right along the front. Storms fire, but they quickly run out of fuel. That is not happening this time. This warm sector is enormous. It stretches from the Gulf Coast all the way up past Chicago. That means any storm that forms anywhere in this zone, whether it is right on the front or 100 miles ahead of it, is going to have unlimited fuel to work with, unlimited moisture, unlimited instability, and that changes everything. On top of all of that, we have incredible low-level wind shear. Wind shear is the change in wind speed and direction as you go up in altitude. When you have strong wind shear combined with high instability, the atmosphere becomes perfectly primed for rotating thunderstorms. We call those supercells. And supercells are the storms that produce the most violent tornadoes. Tomorrow, we are not just expecting supercells, we are expecting supercells with the kind of energy and rotation that can produce EF2, EF3, and potentially even EF4 tornadoes. Now, I know some of you are thinking, wait, did he just say EF4 in March? Yes. And here is why that is not an exaggeration. Just days ago, we had an EF3 tornado tear through Michigan. That tornado formed in an area that only had a 2% probability of tornadoes. 2%. And it was violent and deadly. So when the Storm Prediction Center puts out a 10% hatched probability for strong tornadoes, which is what they have done for central Illinois and northwest Indiana for tomorrow, that is a serious, serious signal. That is 5 times the probability that produced a deadly EF3 just days ago. All right, here is the moment I promised you. Let me tell you exactly which cities are in the crosshairs. And I want you to listen carefully, because if your city is on this list, you need to take action today, not tomorrow. The primary threat zone for the highest tornado risk on Tuesday stretches from Peoria, Illinois, through Bloomington, Illinois, up toward Chicago, and then east into northwest Indiana, covering cities like Lafayette, Logansport, and Kokomo. This is where the Storm Prediction Center has issued that rare 10% hatched tornado probability, meaning strong to violent tornadoes EF2 or greater are possible. But that is not the only danger zone. There is a second enhanced risk area centered on the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex in Texas, extending southwest towards San Angelo and Abilene. The tornado probability there is at 5%, but the hail threat is absolutely massive. We are talking about hailstones the size of baseballs. Some models are suggesting hail even larger than that. And here is something that a lot of people are going to overlook. The area between these two zones, places like Little Rock, Arkansas, Springfield, Missouri, southern portions of Oklahoma, Tulsa, Fort Smith, Jonesboro, these areas are all in the slight risk zone, and they absolutely can see tornadoes and damaging winds tomorrow. Do not let the lower probability make you complacent. That deadly Michigan tornado proved that even low probability areas can get hit hard. Now, let us talk about timing, because this is what everybody needs to know. When exactly do the storms start? When do they peak? And when can you finally breathe easy? Let me start with Texas. If you live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Abilene, San Angelo, Waco, or anywhere in North Central and West Texas, storms are going to begin firing during the late morning and early afternoon hours on Tuesday. By noon Central Time, you should already be watching the sky. By 2 in the afternoon, isolated supercells will start to develop across West and Central Texas. These storms are going to produce giant hail first. I am talking about hailstones 2 inches, 3 inches, possibly 4 inches in diameter. That will damage your car, break your windows, and injure you if you are caught outside. The peak of the severe weather in Texas is going to be between 3 in the afternoon and 8 in the evening Central Time. During this window, those supercells will be at their strongest. A couple of tornadoes are possible between Dallas and San Angelo, but the primary threat in Texas is going to be that monster hail. By 10 at night, the storms in Texas will begin to weaken and move east. If you are in East Texas, the Houston area, or the Piney Woods region, you will see the remnants of these storms push through between 10 at night and 2 in the morning on Wednesday. Now, here is where things get really dangerous, and this is the part you cannot miss. The Midwest threat. If you live in Illinois, Indiana, or anywhere near Chicago, this next section could save your life. The storms in the Midwest are going to begin developing during the mid to late afternoon on Tuesday. By about 3 in the afternoon Central Time, the first supercells will start to form across central and southern Illinois, likely near Springfield and Peoria. These initial storms are going to rapidly intensify as they tap into that record-breaking warmth and moisture. The peak danger window for central Illinois, that is Peoria, Bloomington, Springfield, Decatur, Champaign, is going to be between 4 in the afternoon and 7 in the evening Central Time. This is the absolute bullseye. The significant tornado parameter, which combines wind shear, instability, moisture, and storm relative helicity into a single number, is forecast to reach values of 5 to 8.5 in this area. To put that in perspective, a value of 1 is considered notable. A value of 3 is concerning, a value of 5 is high, and we are looking at 8.5 around Peoria at approximately 8 in the evening. Those numbers are extraordinary for any time of year. For March, this far north, they are almost unprecedented. But here is the twist that makes this even more dangerous. The storms are not going to stop at 7 in the evening. They are going to continue intensifying and pushing eastward through the overnight hours. By 8 at night, the supercells will be moving into the Chicago metropolitan area and northwest Indiana. Let me be very specific here. If you live in Chicago, Joliet, Gary, Hammond, South Bend, Kankakee, or anywhere along the Interstate 80 corridor in Illinois and Indiana, the storms will be reaching you between 8 at night and midnight. And this is where the after dark factor becomes critical. Research shows that tornadoes that occur at night are 2.5 times more deadly than daytime tornadoes. People are asleep. They cannot see the tornado coming. They are not watching the news. Their phones might be on silent. That is why I am telling you right now, before you go to bed Tuesday night, make sure you have a weather radio turned on. Make sure your phone alerts are turned up loud enough to wake you. Make sure every single person in your household knows where to go if a tornado warning is issued. An interior room on the lowest floor, a bathroom, a closet. Get away from windows. Put shoes on before you go to bed. I know that sounds extreme, but if you have to evacuate in the dark through broken glass, you will thank me. Let me continue with the timing. After midnight on Wednesday, the storms will continue pushing east into central and eastern Indiana. Indianapolis, Muncie, Anderson, Richmond, you are looking at a window between midnight and 4 in the morning. The tornado threat will still be present, but the storms may start to organize into more of a line by this point, which shifts the primary threat from discrete tornadoes to straight-line winds. For the Quad Cities, that is Davenport, Rock Island, Moline, Bettendorf, your window of concern is between 6 in the evening and 10 at night Tuesday. For Rockford, Illinois, expect storms between 7 at night and 11 at night. For Milwaukee, the storms will be weaker by the time they reach you, but you could still see strong thunderstorms between 10 at night and 2 in the morning on Wednesday. Now, I told you I would cover over 270 cities, so let me keep going. This is the most comprehensive severe weather breakdown you are going to find anywhere. For St. Louis, Missouri, you are on the western edge of the threat. Storms will fire west of you and move through the metro between 4 and 8 in the evening Tuesday. The tornado threat in St. Louis proper is lower, but large hail and damaging winds are definitely on the table. Do not let your guard down. Kansas City, Missouri, you are going to see storms develop to your south and east. Your direct threat is lower, but keep an eye on things between 3 and 7 in the evening. If storms train over your area, flash flooding becomes a concern. For Louisville, Kentucky, the storms will arrive late Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning between 2 and 6 in the morning. By that point, the system will be more linear, so damaging winds are the primary concern, but an embedded tornado cannot be ruled out. Now let me jump down to the Deep South because there is severe weather happening today as well that people need to know about. This evening, Monday evening, there is a slight risk of severe weather from Little Rock, Arkansas through Tupelo, Mississippi, all the way to Birmingham, Alabama. Cities in the crosshairs tonight include Montgomery, Meridian, Tuscaloosa, Columbus, and Greenwood, Mississippi. The main threats tonight are damaging winds and large hail, with an isolated tornado possible, especially in the area from Tupelo to Birmingham. A cluster of storms, what meteorologists call a mesoscale convective system, is going to push through North Alabama this evening and could even reach the Atlanta metro area before it weakens after midnight. If you are in North Alabama or North Georgia tonight, keep your weather alerts on. All right, now let us talk about Wednesday because this is a multi-day event and a lot of people are going to make the mistake of thinking the danger is over after Tuesday night. It is not. Wednesday brings a whole new round of severe weather and it is going to affect even more people. By Wednesday morning, the cold front will still be pushing east across the Ohio Valley and the lower Mississippi Valley. The storms will likely be ongoing when you wake up Wednesday morning if you live in western Kentucky, western Tennessee, southern Indiana, or southern Illinois. These morning storms will carry heavy rain, frequent lightning, and strong winds. As Wednesday progresses, the cold front will sweep east, and a line of severe thunderstorms, a squall line, is going to develop from Pennsylvania all the way down to the Gulf Coast. This line is going to pack damaging straight-line winds of 60 to 80 miles per hour across a wide area. Let me give you the Wednesday city-by-city breakdown. Memphis, Tennessee. Storms arrive early Wednesday morning. Between 4 and 8 in the morning. The main threat is damaging winds, but a brief tornado embedded in the line is possible. The storms will be loud and fast-moving. Have your safe spot ready. Nashville, Tennessee. The squall line hits Nashville between 8 in the morning and noon on Wednesday. Expect wind gusts over 60 miles per hour, heavy rain, and possible hail. This is going to feel like a continuation of the active weather pattern, and it will be intense. Jackson, Mississippi. Storms move through between 6 and 10 in the morning Wednesday. Damaging winds are the primary concern. Power outages are likely. Birmingham, Alabama. After getting hit tonight, Birmingham could see another round of storms Wednesday afternoon between noon and 4 in the afternoon as the cold front sweeps through. Huntsville, Alabama. Wednesday morning between 8 and noon. Strong to severe thunderstorms with damaging winds. Chattanooga, Tennessee. Storms arrive between 10 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon Wednesday. Damaging winds and heavy rain, Knoxville, Tennessee. The line reaches you between noon and 4 in the afternoon Wednesday, Cincinnati, Ohio. Wednesday afternoon between noon and 4 in the afternoon. The tornado threat is lower here, but damaging winds are a real concern. Downed trees and power lines are likely. Columbus, Ohio. Storms arrive between 1 and 5 in the afternoon Wednesday. Cleveland, Ohio. The squall line reaches northeast Ohio between 2 and 6 in the afternoon Wednesday. Strong winds and heavy rain. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Wednesday afternoon between 2 and 6 in the afternoon. And here is something interesting. The northern corridor of the squall line through Ohio, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia actually has an elevated tornado threat on Wednesday. The warm sector will still be wide enough to support some rotation in storms that get out ahead of the main line. So Pittsburgh, do not sleep on this. Charleston, West Virginia. Storms arrive between 2 and 5 in the afternoon Wednesday. Lexington, Kentucky. Wednesday morning into early afternoon between 10 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. Evansville, Indiana. Early Wednesday morning between 2 and 6 in the morning. Terre Haute, Indiana. Between midnight and 4 in the morning Wednesday. Fort Wayne, Indiana. Overnight Tuesday into early Wednesday morning between midnight and 4 in the morning. A transition from discrete supercells to a squall line is expected in this area. Detroit, Michigan. The southern suburbs of Detroit could see strong storms between midnight and 4 in the morning Wednesday. The tornado threat extends into southern Michigan, Toledo, Ohio, between 1 and 5 in the morning Wednesday. Strong storms, possible tornadoes if discrete supercells hold together. Akron, Ohio. Wednesday afternoon between 1 and 5 in the afternoon. Youngstown, Ohio, between 2 and 5 in the afternoon Wednesday. Erie, Pennsylvania. Between 3 and 6 in the afternoon Wednesday, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Late Wednesday afternoon into the evening, between 4 and 8 in the evening, Allentown, Pennsylvania. Between 5 and 9 in the evening Wednesday, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The storms should weaken by the time they reach Philadelphia, but you could still see strong thunderstorms between 6 and 10 in the evening Wednesday, Baltimore, Maryland. Between 6 and 10 in the evening Wednesday. The squall line will be weakening but could still produce strong winds. Washington, District of Columbia. Between 5 and 9 in the evening Wednesday. Strong thunderstorms are possible. Richmond, Virginia. Wednesday evening between 6 and 10 in the evening. Raleigh, North Carolina. By Thursday morning, the system could bring storms into the Carolinas. If the front still has energy left, the window for Raleigh is between midnight Wednesday night and 6 in the morning Thursday. Charlotte, North Carolina. Early Thursday morning between 2 and 8 in the morning. Depending on how much energy remains, strong storms are possible. Columbia, South Carolina. Thursday morning between 4 and 10 in the morning. Atlanta, Georgia. After seeing storms tonight on Monday, Atlanta could see another round Wednesday evening into Thursday morning between 10 in the evening Wednesday and 4 in the morning Thursday. The storms will be weakening but could still produce gusty winds and heavy rain. Jacksonville, Florida. Thursday afternoon if the front makes it that far south with any energy left. Now let me go back to the Midwest and cover more cities that I have not hit yet. This is important. Quincy, Illinois. Tuesday afternoon between 3 and 6 in the evening. You are right in the enhanced risk zone. Supercells are likely to form near your area. Large hail and tornadoes are possible. Jacksonville, Illinois. Between 3:30 and 6:30 in the evening Tuesday. Champaign, Illinois. Between 5 and 8 in the evening Tuesday. Right in the high-risk corridor, Danville, Illinois. Between 5:30 and 9 in the evening Tuesday, Mattoon, Illinois. Between 5 and 8:30 in the evening Tuesday, Effingham, Illinois. Between 5 and 8 in the evening Tuesday, Carbondale, Illinois. Southern Illinois sees storms between 6 and 10 in the evening Tuesday, but the tornado threat is lower than in central Illinois. Marion, Illinois. Between 6 and 10 in the evening Tuesday, Galesburg, Illinois. Between 4 and 7 in the evening Tuesday, Normal, Illinois. Between 4:30 and 7:30 in the evening Tuesday. This is right in the bull's eye of the significant tornado parameter maximum. Take this seriously. Pontiac, Illinois. Between 5 and 8 in the evening Tuesday, Morris, Illinois. Between 6 and 9 in the evening Tuesday, Aurora, Illinois. Between 7 and 10 at night Tuesday, Naperville, Illinois. Between 7 and 10 at night Tuesday, Elgin, Illinois. Between 7:30 and 10:30 at night Tuesday, Waukegan, Illinois. Between 8 and 11 at night Tuesday, now Indiana, Lafayette, Indiana, between 7 and 11 at night Tuesday. You are in the Hatch tornado zone. This is serious. Kokomo, Indiana, between 7:30 and 11:30 at night Tuesday. Crawfordsville, Indiana, between 7 and 10:30 at night Tuesday. Frankfort, Indiana, between 7:30 and 11 at night Tuesday. Lebanon, Indiana, between 8 and 11 at night Tuesday. Logansport, Indiana, between 7:30 and 11 at night Tuesday. You are in the 10% tornado probability zone. Peru, Indiana, between 7:30 and 11 at night Tuesday. Marion, Indiana, between 8 and midnight Tuesday into Wednesday. Muncie, Indiana, between 9 at night and 1 in the morning Wednesday. Anderson, Indiana, between 9 at night and 1 in the morning Wednesday. Noblesville, Indiana, between 8:30 and midnight Tuesday. Fishers, Indiana, between 8:30 and midnight Tuesday. Carmel, Indiana, between 8:30 and midnight Tuesday. Greenfield, Indiana, between 9 at night and 1 in the morning Wednesday. Shelbyville, Indiana, between 9:30 at night and 1:30 in the morning Wednesday. Columbus, Indiana, between 10 at night and 2 in the morning Wednesday. Bloomington, Indiana, between 9 and midnight Tuesday into Wednesday. Now let me cover Texas in more detail. Dallas, Texas, Tuesday afternoon between 2 and 7 in the evening. Supercells with large hail and possible tornadoes. Fort Worth, Texas, between 2 and 7 in the evening Tuesday. Same threat as Dallas. Giant hail is the primary concern here, possibly exceeding 3 inches in diameter. Arlington, Texas, between 2 and 7 in the evening Tuesday. Plano, Texas, between 2:30 and 7 in the evening Tuesday. Frisco, Texas, between 2:30 and 7 in the evening Tuesday. McKinney, Texas, between 2:30 and 7 in the evening Tuesday. Denton, Texas, between 2 and 6:30 in the evening Tuesday. Waco, Texas, between 1 and 5 in the afternoon Tuesday. Hail could be significant. Temple, Texas, between 1 and 5 in the afternoon Tuesday. Killeen, Texas, between 1 and 5 in the afternoon Tuesday. San Angelo, Texas, between noon and 4 in the afternoon Tuesday. This is one of the earliest areas to see storms. Supercells could produce large hail and a tornado or two. Abilene, Texas, between noon and 4 in the afternoon Tuesday. Stephenville, Texas, between 1 and 5 in the afternoon Tuesday. Brownwood, Texas, between noon and 4 in the afternoon Tuesday. Midland, Texas, storms could brush the eastern edge of the Permian Basin between noon and 3 in the afternoon. Odessa, Texas, same window as Midland, lower probability. Austin, Texas, between 2 and 6 in the evening Tuesday. The threat is lower in Austin than in Dallas, but strong storms are still possible. San Antonio, Texas, on the southern edge of the threat. Between 3 and 7 in the evening Tuesday, mainly a hail and wind threat. Houston, Texas, late Tuesday evening into overnight, between 9 at night and 2 in the morning Wednesday. These will be weakening storms pushing southeast out of central Texas. Tyler, Texas, between 5 and 9 in the evening Tuesday. Strong storms with hail and wind. Longview, Texas, between 5:30 and 9:30 in the evening Tuesday. Texarkana, Texas, between 6 and 10 in the evening Tuesday. Lubbock, Texas, on the far western edge, lower probability but cannot rule out an isolated severe storm between 1 and 4 in the afternoon. Amarillo, Texas, you are largely out of the main threat zone for this event. El Paso, Texas, you are clear, no severe weather expected. Now let me fill in more cities across the broader threat area. Tulsa, Oklahoma, Tuesday evening between 4 and 8 in the evening. You are on the western edge of the slight risk zone. Strong storms with hail and gusty winds are possible. Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, lower threat than areas to the east, but keep an eye on things between 3 and 7 in the evening Tuesday. An isolated severe storm is possible. Norman, Oklahoma, same window as Oklahoma City. Joplin, Missouri, between 4 and 8 in the evening Tuesday. Strong storms, possible hail. Springfield, Missouri, between 4 and 8 in the evening Tuesday. Damaging winds and hail. Columbia, Missouri, between 3 and 7 in the evening Tuesday. Jefferson City, Missouri, between 3:30 and 7 in the evening Tuesday. Cape Girardeau, Missouri, between 6 and 10 in the evening Tuesday. Paducah, Kentucky, between 8 at night Tuesday and 1 in the morning Wednesday. Bowling Green, Kentucky, Between 10 at night Tuesday and 3 in the morning Wednesday, Owensboro, Kentucky. Between 10 at night Tuesday and 2 in the morning Wednesday, Clarksville, Tennessee. Between midnight and 4 in the morning Wednesday, Jackson, Tennessee. Between midnight and 5 in the morning Wednesday. Now let me talk about something critical that I have not mentioned yet. Flash flooding. With all the focus on tornadoes and hail, it is easy to forget that these storms are also going to drop enormous amounts of rain. Multiple rounds of thunderstorms passing over the same areas, what we call training storms, are going to create a significant flash flood risk from Missouri through Kentucky and up into southern portions of Illinois and Indiana. Some areas could see 3 to 5 inches of rain in just a few hours. If you live in a flood-prone area, if you live near a creek or a river, if your basement tends to flood, take precautions now. Move valuables to higher ground. Make sure your sump pump is working. And never, ever drive through a flooded roadway. Turn around, do not drown. 6 inches of moving water can knock you off your feet. 12 inches can carry away a small car. And 24 inches of moving water will sweep away most vehicles, including trucks and sport utility vehicles. Now, there is another layer to this storm that I need to address, and it is something that does not get enough attention. Nighttime tornadoes. I mentioned this earlier, but I want to spend a little more time on it because the statistics are staggering and they directly apply to tomorrow night. Studies have shown that tornadoes that strike between midnight and 6 in the morning have a fatality rate that is nearly 2.5 times higher than daytime tornadoes. The reasons are straightforward but deadly. At night, you cannot see the tornado approaching. Cloud-to-ground lightning might briefly illuminate it, but most of the time it is invisible in the darkness. At night, most people are asleep. They are not watching television, they are not scrolling through social media, they are not checking radar apps, and even if they have weather alerts turned on, deep sleepers might not hear them. Here is the reality for central Illinois and Indiana tomorrow night. The Storm Prediction Center's timing puts the highest probability supercells arriving in the most populated areas between 7 in the evening and midnight. For some areas to the east, the threats continue until 4 or 5 in the morning. That means for millions of people, the most dangerous weather is going to arrive while they are getting ready for bed or already asleep. I want to give you 3 specific things you can do right now to protect yourself from a nighttime tornado. Number 1. Place your shoes next to your bed tonight. If a tornado hits, there will be glass, nails, and debris everywhere. You need to be able to move quickly without injuring your feet. Number 2. Sleep with a weather radio on your nightstand, volume turned all the way up. A National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration weather radio will sound a loud alarm when a tornado warning is issued for your county. This is the single most reliable way to be woken up during a nighttime tornado event. Number 3, keep a helmet near your safe spot. It can be a bicycle helmet, a motorcycle helmet, a hard hat, anything. Head injuries are the leading cause of tornado fatalities. Putting a helmet on your head and on the heads of your children before you take shelter can make the difference between life and death. This is not an exaggeration. Emergency physicians and storm researchers have been recommending this for years. For parents with young children, practice your shelter plan before bedtime tomorrow. Walk through the steps with your kids. Show them where to go. Make it feel normal, not scary. Children pick up on your energy. If you are calm and prepared, they will feel safe. If you are panicking, they will panic too. For elderly residents, especially those who live alone, please check in with a neighbor or family member today. Make sure someone knows you are in the threat zone. Make sure you have a way to receive warnings. If you use a hearing aid, keep it on your nightstand so you can put it in quickly if you need to hear an alert. For those in nursing homes, assisted living facilities, and hospitals in the threat zone, staff should review severe weather protocols today. Know where the interior hallways are. Know how to move patients quickly. Have backup power plans in place. This is a community event. We protect each other. Check on your neighbors. Make sure the elderly couple down the street knows about the threat. Make sure the family that just moved in from out of state understands what a tornado warning means. A watch means conditions are favorable. A warning means a tornado has been spotted or detected on radar. When you hear a warning, you take shelter immediately. No questions, no hesitation. You move. Now, beyond the severe weather, there is another weather story developing that is going to impact millions of people. An ice storm. Yes, you heard that right. While central Illinois and Indiana are dealing with 80-degree temperatures and tornadoes, northern Michigan, the Upper Peninsula, Wisconsin, and southern portions of Ontario and Quebec are going to be dealing with a significant ice storm. Some areas could see up to an inch of ice accumulation. That is enough to bring down tree limbs, snap power lines, and leave communities without electricity for days. If you live in northern Michigan, especially the Upper Peninsula, Marquette, Sault Ste. Marie, Traverse City, Petoskey, or anywhere in northern lower Michigan, prepare for this ice event. It is coming Tuesday night into Wednesday. Have flashlights, batteries, blankets, and a plan to stay warm if the power goes out. Heavy snow will fall north of the ice line. Parts of northern Wisconsin, the Upper Peninsula, and into southern Canada could see significant snowfall accumulations. This is a full-spectrum weather event. Record heat to the south, tornadoes in the middle, ice and snow to the north. That is how powerful this storm system is. And guess what? It does not end there. After this system pushes through, we are going to get a brief cool down on Thursday and Friday, with temperatures dropping back to near average. But then another surge of warmth returns over the weekend, with spring-like temperatures rebounding Saturday and Sunday. But here comes the next twist. And this is something I will be covering in detail in my next video, so make sure you are subscribed. A second powerful storm system is already taking shape over the Pacific. This one is going to dive out of Canada early next week, bringing a much stronger cold front with it. We are talking about a complete pattern reversal. After nearly 2 weeks of record-breaking warmth across most of the United States, winter is going to make a comeback. By Monday and Tuesday of next week, well below average temperatures are going to lock into the eastern half of the country. We could see temperatures 20 to 30 degrees below normal in some areas, and this system might even bring blizzard conditions to parts of the Great Lakes and the interior Northeast. More snow, more ice, more power outages. We are going to go from 80 degrees and tornadoes to below freezing and blizzards in less than a week. That is the kind of wild swing that makes this pattern so dangerous and so unpredictable. But right now, the immediate threat is what matters. Let me give you your preparation checklist. Whether you are in the tornado zone, the hail zone, the wind zone, the flood zone, or the ice zone, you need to do these things today. First, identify your safe spot. Every person in your household should know exactly where to go if a tornado warning is issued. Interior room, lowest floor, away from windows. If you have a basement, that is your best option. If you do not, a bathroom or closet on the ground floor works. Get under something sturdy if you can. Second, charge your devices, charge your phone, charge your tablets, charge any portable battery packs you have. If the power goes out, you need your phone to receive warnings. Third, turn on your weather radio. If you do not have a weather radio, this is the day to get one. They are $20 to $30 and they could save your life. Set it to your local county and it will sound an alarm whenever a warning is issued, even in the middle of the night. Fourth, check your phone alerts. Go into your phone settings right now and make sure emergency alerts are turned on. Make sure the volume is turned up. Make sure Do Not Disturb mode will not block emergency alerts. Fifth, prepare an emergency kit. Flashlights, batteries, water, snacks, a first aid kit, any medications you take, important documents in a waterproof bag, shoes near your bed, a helmet if you have one. Sixth, if you have outdoor furniture, loose items in your yard, trampolines, grills, potted plants, bring them inside or secure them. 80-mile-per-hour winds will turn those things into missiles. Seventh, if you live in a mobile home or a manufactured home, make a plan now to get to a sturdier structure before the storms arrive. Mobile homes are not safe shelter during a tornado. Period. Know where your nearest community storm shelter is. Know where your nearest sturdy building is, and go there before the warnings start, not after. Now let me give you a few more cities I have not covered yet to make sure we get as many of you as possible. Topeka, Kansas. Tuesday afternoon between 3 and 6 in the evening, on the far western edge of the threat, isolated strong storms possible. Wichita, Kansas. Lower risk for this event. Keep an eye out Tuesday afternoon, but the main action will be to your east. Omaha, Nebraska. You are largely north of the main threat zone. A stray storm is possible late Tuesday, but the severe risk is low. Des Moines, Iowa. Tuesday evening between 5 and 9 in the evening. You are on the northern edge of the risk zone. Strong storms are possible, especially if the warm front pushes farther north than expected. Cedar Rapids, Iowa, between 5 and 9 in the evening Tuesday. Similar to Des Moines, you are on the edge, but do not drop your guard. Iowa City, Iowa. Between 5:30 and 9:30 in the evening Tuesday, Dubuque, Iowa. Between 6 and 10 in the evening Tuesday. On the far northern edge, Madison, Wisconsin. The storms should be weakening by the time they reach you, but strong thunderstorms are possible between 9 at night and 1 in the morning Wednesday. Grand Rapids, Michigan. Between midnight and 4 in the morning Wednesday. Keep alerts on, Lansing, Michigan. Between midnight and 4 in the morning Wednesday. Ann Arbor, Michigan. Between midnight and 4 in the morning Wednesday. Just south of Detroit, you are in the zone where storms could still produce a tornado if discrete cells hold together. Kalamazoo, Michigan. Between 11 at night Tuesday and 3 in the morning Wednesday, South Bend, Indiana. Between 8 and midnight Tuesday, you are in the enhanced risk zone. Take this seriously. Elkhart, Indiana. Between 8 and midnight Tuesday, Valparaiso, Indiana. Between 7:30 and 11 at night Tuesday, right in the tornado threat zone, Michigan City, Indiana. Between 7:30 and 11 at night Tuesday, Gary, Indiana. Between 8 and 11 at night Tuesday, Hammond, Indiana. Between 8 and 11 at night Tuesday. Now let me round out the southeast and mid-Atlantic coverage. Little Rock, Arkansas. Tuesday evening between 5 and 9 in the evening. Strong storms, mainly a wind and hail threat. A brief tornado is possible. Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Between 6 and 10 in the evening Tuesday. Fort Smith, Arkansas. Between 4 and 8 in the evening Tuesday. Jonesboro, Arkansas. Between 7 and 11 at night Tuesday, Fayetteville, Arkansas. Between 4 and 7 in the evening Tuesday, Shreveport, Louisiana. Between 7 and 11 at night Tuesday, on the southern edge of the threat, Monroe, Louisiana. Between 8 at night Tuesday and midnight, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Very low threat from this particular event. You could see some strong storms overnight Tuesday into Wednesday, but the severe risk is minimal. New Orleans, Louisiana. Largely clear of the severe threat. Some strong storms are possible Wednesday morning, but not expecting severe weather. Mobile, Alabama. Minor threat. Strong storms possible Wednesday morning. Montgomery, Alabama. Tonight, Monday evening, you could see the first round of storms. Then another round Wednesday morning through afternoon. Tupelo, Mississippi. Tonight through this evening, severe storms with possible tornadoes. Then another round late Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Greenville, Mississippi. Late Tuesday night through Wednesday morning. Damaging winds. Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Wednesday morning through afternoon. Lower threat, Pensacola, Florida. Wednesday morning, strong storms possible, but the severe threat is lower. Tallahassee, Florida. Wednesday afternoon into Thursday morning, lower probability. Macon, Georgia. Wednesday evening into Thursday morning, Savannah, Georgia. Thursday morning, if the front maintains energy, Augusta, Georgia. Thursday morning, Greenville, South Carolina. Thursday morning between 4 and 10 in the morning, Spartanburg, South Carolina. Thursday morning between 4 and 10 in the morning, Asheville, North Carolina. Wednesday evening into Thursday morning, the mountains may see strong storms. Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Thursday morning, Greensboro, North Carolina. Thursday morning, Norfolk, Virginia. Thursday afternoon, if the system still has juice, Virginia Beach, Virginia. Same window as Norfolk, Lynchburg, Virginia. Wednesday evening into Thursday morning, Roanoke, Virginia. Wednesday evening into Thursday morning. Now, I want to circle back to something I said at the beginning that I want to make sure you fully understand. The significant tornado parameter values being forecast for Tuesday evening in central Illinois are extraordinary. Let me explain what that means in plain language. The significant tornado parameter is a mathematical formula that takes into account 4 key ingredients. Surface-based convective available potential energy, which is the fuel. 0 to 1 kilometer storm relative helicity, which is the low-level spin. 0 to 6 kilometer bulk wind shear, which is the deep layer wind change. And the lifting condensation level, which tells us how low the cloud bases are. When all 4 of these ingredients come together in the right proportions, the number goes up. And when that number is above 1, conditions favor supercells. When it is above 3, conditions strongly favor significant tornadoes. When it is above 5, you are in a rare and extremely volatile environment. Tomorrow, around Peoria, Illinois, at 8 in the evening Central Time, the significant tornado parameter is forecast to hit 8.5. Let me say that again, 8.5. That is not just high. That is among the highest values you will see at this latitude in March. That tells us that if, and this is the key word, if a supercell develops in that environment, it will have every ingredient it needs to produce a strong, potentially violent tornado. Now, the saving grace, and I do not want to frighten anyone, the saving grace is the word if. High significant tornado parameter values do not guarantee tornadoes. You need a storm to actually form and tap into that environment. It is possible that convective inhibition, which is basically a cap or a lid on the atmosphere, could prevent storms from forming. It is possible that the storms form but do not properly interact with the warm front to develop rotation. These are what we call failure modes, and they are real possibilities. But based on what the models are showing right now, the probability of those failure modes is decreasing with every new model run. The atmosphere is loaded, the trigger mechanisms are in place, and the odds are increasingly pointing toward a significant severe weather event. Here is something else you need to know. The storms in central Illinois and Indiana are most likely going to be discrete supercells, at least initially. That means individual, isolated, rotating thunderstorms, not a line of storms. Discrete supercells are the most dangerous type of thunderstorm for tornadoes because all of the storm's energy and rotation is concentrated in one cell. As the evening progresses and the storms push east, they may start to congeal into a line, but those first few hours of discrete supercells are going to be the most dangerous. And here is the part that makes my stomach turn. It is going to happen after dark. The most dangerous storms, the ones with the highest tornado potential, are going to be firing between 6 in the evening and midnight. That is the worst case scenario for tornadoes. You cannot see them. They are hidden in the rain and the darkness. Your only defense is your weather alerts and your preparedness. Let me be clear about one thing. I am not trying to scare you. Fear does not save lives. Preparation saves lives. Knowledge saves lives. Knowing exactly when the storms are going to hit your area, knowing where your safe spot is, knowing how to receive warnings, that is what keeps you and your family safe. So take this information and act on it. Let me give you a rapid-fire summary of the key threat windows. Monday evening, tonight, Mississippi and Alabama, severe storms, hail, wind, isolated tornadoes. Cities at risk include Tupelo, Birmingham, Montgomery, Meridian, Tuscaloosa. Storms weaken after midnight. Tuesday afternoon through evening. Texas, large hail, damaging winds, isolated tornadoes. Dallas, Fort Worth, San Angelo, Abilene, Waco. Peak threat between 2 and 8 in the evening Central Time. Tuesday, late afternoon through overnight. Central Illinois and Indiana, the most dangerous period. Tornadoes, including strong to violent tornadoes. Large hail, damaging winds. Peoria, Bloomington, Springfield, Chicago, Lafayette, Kokomo, Logansport. Peak threat between 4 in the afternoon and midnight Central Time. This is an after-dark event. Be ready. Overnight Tuesday into Wednesday morning. Eastern Indiana, Ohio, southern Michigan. The squall line develops. Damaging winds become the primary threat. Embedded tornadoes possible. Indianapolis, Fort Wayne, Toledo, Detroit suburbs. Between midnight and 6 in the morning, Wednesday morning through afternoon, Ohio Valley, Tennessee, Kentucky, squall line pushes east, damaging straight-line winds of 60 to 80 miles per hour. Memphis, Nashville, Cincinnati, Columbus, Cleveland. Between 4 in the morning and 6 in the evening, depending on your location, Wednesday afternoon through evening. Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Appalachia. The squall line reaches the East Coast. Pittsburgh, Charleston, Harrisburg, between 2 and 8 in the evening. Northern Corridor, Ohio through Pennsylvania has an elevated tornado threat. Wednesday evening through Thursday morning. Carolinas, Georgia, Virginia. Weakening storms, but still capable of producing strong winds and heavy rain. Raleigh, Charlotte, Richmond, Atlanta, between 10 in the evening Wednesday and 8 in the morning Thursday. Now, one more thing before I wrap up. Flash flooding. Do not underestimate this threat. Multiple rounds of storms over the same areas between Tuesday and Wednesday will dump 3 to 5 inches of rain, possibly more in some locations. The highest flood risk is from Missouri through Kentucky and into southern Illinois and Indiana. If you see a flash flood warning on your phone, take it just as seriously as a tornado warning. More people die from flooding in the United States each year than from tornadoes. If you encounter a flooded road, turn around immediately. No exceptions. Also, for our friends in northern Michigan and Wisconsin, that ice storm is no joke. Up to an inch of ice on power lines and tree branches will cause widespread outages. If you depend on electricity for medical equipment, for heating, for anything essential, make backup plans now. Now, I want to go even deeper on some areas that I think deserve extra attention because people in these cities have been messaging me non-stop asking for details. Let me talk about the Chicago metropolitan area specifically because nearly 10 million people live in the greater Chicago area, and this storm is heading right for them. Chicago is in a unique position with this system. The warm front is going to be draped right across the metro area on Tuesday. That warm front is the trigger. When storms interact with a warm front, the low-level wind shear increases dramatically, and that is what creates the spin that produces tornadoes. The same exact setup, a warm front draped across a metro area with supercells approaching from the southwest, is what produced the deadly EF3 tornado in Michigan just days ago. For the city of Chicago proper, the downtown Loop area, storms will arrive between 8 and 11 at night Tuesday. The skyscrapers and the lake will have some moderating effect, but do not count on that to protect you. If a tornado warning is issued for Cook County, you need to take shelter immediately. Get to the lowest floor of whatever building you are in. Stay away from windows. If you are in a high-rise, get to an interior stairwell or an interior hallway on a lower floor. For the western suburbs, Naperville, Aurora, Bolingbrook, Plainfield, Oswego, Yorkville, storms will arrive slightly earlier, between 7 and 10 at night. These suburbs are actually in a more vulnerable position than downtown Chicago because they are closer to the warm front interaction zone. Plainfield, Illinois, was devastated by an F5 tornado back in 1990. The conditions tomorrow are not identical to that day, but the reminder should motivate anyone in that area to take precautions. For the northern suburbs, Schaumburg, Arlington Heights, Palatine, Evanston, Highland Park, Lake Forest, storms arrive between 8 and 11 at night. The tornado threat is somewhat lower in the northern suburbs, but large hail and damaging winds are very much on the table. For the southern suburbs, Joliet, Orland Park, Tinley Park, Homewood, Chicago Heights, Kankakee, this area is closer to the warm front and may actually see storms earlier, between 7 and 10:30 at night. The tornado risk is elevated here. Pay close attention. For the Indiana side of the Chicago metro, Gary, Hammond, East Chicago, Crown Point, Valparaiso, Portage, Merrillville, Hobart, you are squarely in the enhanced risk zone. Storms reach you between 8 and midnight. The tornado probability is at its highest in this corridor. Make sure you and your family have a plan. Now let me shift to the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex because that is the other major metro area under threat tomorrow. The DFW Metroplex has a population of over 7.5 million people, and while the tornado threat is lower than in Illinois, the hail threat is extreme. Let me break this down neighborhood by neighborhood. For the western portions of the Metroplex, Fort Worth, Weatherford, Granbury, Cleburne storms will arrive first between 1:30 and 5 in the afternoon. These western suburbs will see the storms when they are young and potentially at their most discrete, meaning individual supercells capable of producing giant hail. If you park your car outside, consider putting it in a garage or under a carport before noon. Hailstones the size of softballs can total a vehicle in seconds. For the central Metroplex, Arlington, Grand Prairie, Irving, Dallas proper, storms arrive between 2 and 6 in the evening. The hail threat remains extreme. Damaging winds are also possible. For the northern suburbs, Plano, Frisco, McKinney, Allen, Prosper, Salina, storms arrive between 2:30 and 6:30 in the evening. If supercells develop as the models suggest, these areas could see very large hail. For the eastern portions of the Metroplex, Mesquite, Garland, Rowlett, Rockwall, Greenville, storms push through between 3 and 7 in the evening. For the southern suburbs, Mansfield, Midlothian, Waxahachie, Ennis, storms arrive between 2 and 6 in the evening. Now here is something I want to address because I know a lot of you are thinking it. You are thinking, well, these storms probably will not be that bad. The probabilities are only 5 or 10%. Tornadoes are rare. What are the chances it actually hits my house? That is a fair question. And you are right that the probability of a tornado hitting any specific location is low. A 10% probability within 25 miles of your location means there is a 90% chance you will be fine. But let me flip that around for you. If I told you there was a 10% chance that a thief would break into your house tonight, would you leave your doors unlocked and go to sleep? Of course not. You would lock your doors, turn on your alarm, and maybe sleep with one eye open. That is the same mindset you need to have tomorrow. The odds are in your favor, but the consequences if you are wrong are catastrophic. An EF3 tornado has wind speeds between 136 and 165 miles per hour. It will destroy a well-built home. It will strip the bark off trees. It will throw cars through the air. An EF4 is even worse with wind speeds between 166 and 200 miles per hour. At that level, well-built homes are leveled to their foundations. Vehicles become airborne projectiles. Steel-reinforced structures sustain significant damage. The significant tornado parameter values we are seeing tomorrow support the possibility of tornadoes in that range. So no, I am not trying to scare you. But I am telling you to respect the atmosphere tomorrow, respect what it is capable of, and give yourself every possible advantage by being prepared. Let me also address pet safety because this is something people often forget about until it is too late. If you have dogs, cats, or other pets, include them in your emergency plan. Bring outdoor pets inside before the storms arrive. Have carriers ready for cats and small animals. Have leashes ready for dogs. If you need to shelter in a bathroom or closet, bring your pets with you. Animals can sense severe weather and may become agitated or try to hide. Know where your pets tend to go when they are scared and plan accordingly. For livestock owners in the threat zone, especially in central Illinois, Indiana, and Texas, try to get animals into a sturdy barn or shelter if possible. I know that is not always practical with large herds, but do what you can. Now, let me cover a few more cities I have not mentioned yet. Terre Haute, Indiana. You are in the slight risk zone. Storms arrive between midnight and 4 in the morning Wednesday. The transition from discrete supercells to a squall line is likely to happen near your area. Damaging winds are the primary concern, but an embedded tornado is possible. Vincennes, Indiana. Between midnight and 4 in the morning Wednesday, same threats as Terre Haute. Lafayette, Indiana. I mentioned you earlier, but let me emphasize this. Lafayette is right in the heart of the 10% hatched tornado zone. Storms arrive between 7 and 11 at night Tuesday. This is one of the highest risk cities in the entire threat area. Purdue University students, make sure you know where the campus shelters are. If you live in an apartment, find out if your building has a basement or a designated storm shelter. Do not wait until the sirens go off to figure this out. Champaign-Urbana, Illinois. University of Illinois students, same message for you. You are in the high-risk zone. Storms between 5 and 8 in the evening Tuesday. Know your shelter locations. Bloomington Normal, Illinois. Illinois State University is right in the crosshairs. Storms between 4:30 and 7:30 in the evening Tuesday. The significant tornado parameter is expected to be at its highest values very close to this area. Take every precaution. Springfield, Illinois. The state capital is under threat. Storms between 3:30 and 6:30 in the evening Tuesday. This is the western edge of the highest risk zone. The governor should be prepared to activate emergency resources. Decatur, Illinois. Between 4 and 7 in the evening Tuesday, right in the enhanced risk zone. Large hail and tornadoes are both possible. Danville, Illinois, between 5:30 and 9 in the evening Tuesday, on the eastern edge of the Illinois risk zone. Storms will be maturing as they approach your area, which could make them even more dangerous. Now, let me cover some areas I have not touched yet. Shreveport, Louisiana, I mentioned briefly, but let me expand. Storms will be pushing through between 7 and 11 at night Tuesday. Your main concern is damaging winds and large hail. The tornado threat is lower in your area, but not zero. Lake Charles, Louisiana. You are on the far southern edge. Any storms that reach you will be weakening. Low risk, Beaumont, Texas. Overnight Tuesday into Wednesday morning between 10 at night and 3 in the morning. Weakening storms, primarily a rain and wind threat. Texarkana, Texas, and Arkansas. Between 6 and 10 in the evening Tuesday. You sit right on the border between the two states and right in the transition zone between the Texas threat and the Midwest threat. Strong storms with hail and wind. Cannot rule out a tornado. Hot Springs, Arkansas. Between 6 and 10 in the evening Tuesday. A beautiful city surrounded by hills, but those hills will not protect you from a tornado. Seek sturdy shelter. Fayetteville, Arkansas. Between 4 and 7 in the evening Tuesday. The University of Arkansas campus should be on alert. Rogers and Bentonville, Arkansas. Between 4 and 7 in the evening Tuesday. Northwest Arkansas has been growing rapidly. A lot of new residents may not be familiar with severe weather safety in this region. If you are new to Arkansas, this is your crash course. Have a plan, have a shelter, have alerts, Branson, Missouri, between 5 and 8 in the evening Tuesday. The Ozarks can be a tricky area for severe weather because the terrain can modify storm behavior. Stay alert. West Plains, Missouri, between 5 and 9 in the evening Tuesday, Poplar Bluff, Missouri. Between 6 and 10 in the evening Tuesday, Sykeston, Missouri. Between 7 and 11 at night Tuesday, Farmington, Missouri. Between 5 and 9 in the evening Tuesday, Rolla, Missouri. Between 4 and 8 in the evening Tuesday, Sedalia, Missouri. Between 3 and 7 in the evening Tuesday, Warrensburg, Missouri. Between 3 and 7 in the evening Tuesday. And for the Ohio Valley, let me add a few more. Dayton, Ohio. Wednesday afternoon between noon and 4 in the afternoon, Dayton has a long and tragic history with tornadoes. The 2019 Memorial Day tornado outbreak devastated parts of the metro area. Use the memory of that event to motivate your preparation. Damaging winds are the primary concern Wednesday, but a tornado cannot be ruled out. Springfield, Ohio. Between noon and 4 in the afternoon Wednesday, Lima, Ohio. Between 11 in the morning and 3 in the afternoon Wednesday, Mansfield, Ohio. Between 1 and 5 in the afternoon Wednesday, Canton, Ohio. Between 1:30 and 5:30 in the afternoon Wednesday, Zanesville, Ohio. Between 1 and 5 in the afternoon Wednesday, Chillicothe, Ohio. Between noon and 4 in the afternoon Wednesday, Marietta, Ohio. Between 2 and 5 in the afternoon Wednesday, Parkersburg, West Virginia. Between 2 and 5 in the afternoon Wednesday, Morgantown, West Virginia. Between 2:30 and 6 in the afternoon Wednesday, Clarksburg, West Virginia. Between 2 and 5:30 in the afternoon Wednesday, Wheeling, West Virginia. Between 2 and 5 in the afternoon Wednesday, Steubenville, Ohio. Between 2 and 5 in the afternoon Wednesday, Altoona, Pennsylvania. Between 3 and 6 in the evening Wednesday, State College, Pennsylvania. Between 3 and 7 in the evening Wednesday, Penn State students be aware, Scranton, Pennsylvania. Between 5 and 8 in the evening Wednesday, weakening storms but still gusty, Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Between 4 and 7 in the evening Wednesday, York, Pennsylvania. Between 5 and 8 in the evening Wednesday, Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Between 5 and 9 in the evening Wednesday, Reading, Pennsylvania. Between 5 and 8 in the evening Wednesday, Frederick, Maryland. Between 5 and 8 in the evening Wednesday, Hagerstown, Maryland. Between 4 and 7 in the evening Wednesday, Cumberland, Maryland. Between 3 and 6 in the evening Wednesday, Winchester, Virginia. Between 4 and 7 in the evening Wednesday, Staunton, Virginia. Between 4 and 7 in the evening Wednesday, Charlottesville, Virginia. Between 5 and 8 in the evening Wednesday, Danville, Virginia. Late Wednesday evening into Thursday morning. Now, I know this has been an incredibly detailed forecast, and I appreciate you staying with me through every city and every time window, but there is one more thing I need to share with you that could change how you think about the next 7 days. After this storm system clears out by Thursday, we are going to get a brief break. Temperatures will cool down to near average. You will think spring has settled in at a reasonable pace, but do not get comfortable, because by Saturday and Sunday, another surge of warmth is going to spread across the eastern United States. Temperatures will rebound back into the 60s and 70s across much of the region. It will feel pleasant. It will feel like the worst is behind us. And then early next week, everything changes. A second powerful storm system is going to crash into the United States. This one is going to bring an Arctic cold front with it. We are talking about a temperature drop of 30 to 40 degrees in 24 hours across parts of the Midwest and Great Lakes. Blizzard conditions are possible from the northern plains through the Great Lakes and into the interior Northeast. Snow totals could be measured in feet, not inches, in some locations. And the severe weather threat could fire up again ahead of this system as the warm air clashes with the advancing Arctic front. I am going to cover that second system in full detail in my next video. I will give you the same city-by-city breakdown with timing and threats. So if you are not subscribed, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications. You do not want to miss it. There is also the possibility of a third system right behind the second one. The pattern for mid to late March is looking extremely active. We could be looking at one of the busiest severe weather stretches in recent memory. I will keep you updated on every single system as it develops. Let me also take a moment to talk about what happens after the storms, because the aftermath of a severe weather event can be just as dangerous as the event itself. If your area is hit by a tornado or straight-line winds, do not go outside immediately after the storm passes unless you are in immediate danger. There could be downed power lines that are still energized. There could be natural gas leaks from broken pipes. There could be unstable structures that are about to collapse. Wait until emergency officials give the all clear before you start surveying damage. If you smell gas in your home after a storm, leave immediately. Do not flip any light switches. Do not use matches or lighters. Get outside and call your gas company or 911 from a safe distance. If you see downed power lines, stay at least 35 feet away from them. That is about the length of a school bus. A downed power line can energize the ground around it and electrocute you even if you do not touch the wire itself. This is called ground current, and it is lethal. If you need to drive after the storms, be extremely cautious. Roads may be flooded, covered in debris, or have traffic signals that are not working. Treat every intersection with a non-functioning traffic light as a four-way stop. Drive slowly. Watch for emergency vehicles. And once again, never drive through standing water on a road. You have no idea how deep it is or whether the road surface underneath has been washed away. For those of you with property damage, document everything with photos and video before you start cleaning up. Contact your insurance company as soon as possible. If your home is severely damaged, do not re-enter it until a building inspector or emergency official has deemed it safe. After the 2021 tornado outbreak in Kentucky, several people were killed or injured by collapsing structures in the days following the storms. Do not let that happen to you. I also want to mention something for people who are not directly in the threat zone but have friends or family who are. Call them today, send them this video, make sure they know what is coming. Sometimes people do not take severe weather seriously until someone they trust personally reaches out and says, "Hey, this is real, please be prepared." Be that person for someone you care about today. For those of you watching from outside the United States or from areas of the country that are not in the threat zone, I appreciate you watching too. Understanding severe weather helps all of us. And your support and your comments help push this information to more people through the algorithm, which means more people in the threat zone see these forecasts and can prepare. All right, that is the full breakdown. Over 270 cities, specific timing windows for every major metro area in the threat zone, tornado probabilities, hail size estimates, wind speed forecasts, flash flood risks, and an ice storm to cap it all off. This is a serious multi-day severe weather event affecting a huge swath of the United States. I need one thing from you right now. Drop a comment below with the city or town you are watching from. I will personally respond with any additional details you need for your area. Share this video with your friends, your family, your neighbors, especially anyone who lives in the threat zones we covered. This information could save someone's life. And do not forget, we are going to be covering this event live as it unfolds tomorrow, all day Tuesday, all night Tuesday, and into Wednesday. Make sure you have notifications turned on so you know the moment we go live. In my next video, I am going to be breaking down that second major storm system heading for the United States early next week. We are talking about a potential blizzard for the Great Lakes and Northeast, a dramatic temperature crash, and the possibility of even more severe weather as winter tries to make one last stand against spring. That video is going to be one you do not want to miss because the pattern shift coming next week could impact tens of millions of people. Stay safe out there. Be prepared, not scared. Know your plan, know your timing, and I will see you in the next one. One last thing. If this video helped you understand the threat and prepare for what is coming, do me a favor. Hit that like button. It takes half a second, but it tells the algorithm to show this video to more people. And the more people who see this forecast, the more lives we can potentially save. That is not an exaggeration. Information is the most powerful tool we have against severe weather. A tornado does not care how strong you are or how fast you can run. But if you know it is coming, if you know when it is coming, and if you know where to go, you have already won half the battle. The other half is actually doing it. So take action today, not tomorrow morning, not when the first watch is issued. Right now, review your plan, charge your devices, check your alerts, talk to your family, and be ready. I will be live streaming all day tomorrow covering this event in real time. I will have radar up, I will have storm reports coming in, and I will be giving you updates as fast as they happen. If a tornado warning is issued for your area, I want to be the first one to tell you. So turn on those notifications, and I will see you tomorrow. Stay safe.